Okay, Erad has... Oh, snap. Thank you, Retro. 21 months like a boss. Thank you, buddy. 21 months like a boss. I actually wanted to play this one from Erad. And this is a game that I used to play a lot when I was many moons younger, called Elite Dangerous. And I determined that it was dead a while ago. And my friend Erad started playing it when Horizons dropped, which is one of their patches. And I still said, hey, it's dead. It doesn't matter. Even with the patch, it's dead. And now that you can have base building and do a lot more in Elite Dangerous, I think Frontier Development is kind of turning around the ship. They're the developers behind this game called Elite Dangerous. If you're not aware of Elite Dangerous, check it out. I think a lot of people would dig this game. And I determined that it was dead a while ago, and now it's doing things that are very cool, like the ability to trade with other people, the ability to create your own stations and manage them. And I've had many a rant because I'm very passionate about this game. And for the longest time, I thought David and the crew were making the wrong decisions on the game. And I was very adamantly opposed to a lot of the decisions that the dev team made. I got a lot of angry people at me. I had a lot of angry people in Elite Dangerous commanders that were mad at me. But I always spoke my mind. And I was correct in saying that the game is dead. And I think even Erad, who covers this, would agree as well that there was a time that the game was dead. I think it's coming back. But David is gone, right? David Brabin, who is the actual creator of Elite Dangerous, is now not part of the board anymore. He's part of the board, I think, still, but he, as a creative director, he's let that go. So now what I'm noticing from Frontier Development is they are actually mimicking a lot of the things that Cloud Imperium is doing. Have you noticed this too, Erad? That if you go to Frontier Development's channel, they're actually mimicking what it is that Cloud Imperium does. They have a studio, they have a set, and I really think that's a smart thing for them to do. And I have been calling for them to do that for 2 years now. And for them to see them go in that direction is a very positive thing for the game. The problem I have right now with Elite Dangerous, even though it's coming back to life, is that the engine is very old. Yes, for the longest time we called Elite Dangerous commanders. We said they had EDC, right? Erectile dysfunction commanders. And so we there was all elite and no dangerous in the game, right? Well, I was telling people that the game needs more danger, and it still does need more danger. That is definitely one of the drawbacks, and the second drawback, and a major drawback, is the engine. So really, the problem I have with the long-term viability of the project and the title is in its engine, right? The engine is very dated. I don't know how much longer you can go with the engine. However, you could say that about a lot of older, still popular games, right? I get it. But to me, my preference in style and taste is like the engine is starting to get older and it's starting to show a little bit. I do like the mechanics they're dropping in. Let's watch Erad's take on this. Elite Dangerous Revival, how Frontier brought the game back to life. And they have, and kudos to them for steering it the right direction. I think Frontier Development are making smart moves on this project now. So I'm kind of much more tuned in to Elite Dangerous than I used to be before. I'm another level up into Elite Dangerous, wondering if I should hop back in. Right, Erad says the engine is still working in other games like Planet Zoo. Right. I think when you're talking about like a space sim game, though, that the engine becomes much more important in comparison to Planet Zoo, though, to be fair. Right, Erad? I just, my take.
It's undeniable, Elite Dangerous is experiencing a revival. According to SteamDB, the average player count has doubled compared to 2 years ago.
Good for them.
Frontier also revealed some promising numbers in their latest shareholder presentation.
Good.
Despite being 11 years old, Elite Dangerous still accounts for 7% of the company's annual revenue.
And that's why you're not seeing a lot of time and effort being put into this. But like I have said before, if they did focus on this, they would bring in so much more revenue with Elite Dangerous. But look at that. Jurassic World Evolution still bringing the most in. Followed by a tie with Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster. And Elite Dangerous is only 7%. So the chart is not in favor of Elite Dangerous. For Frontier development to be focusing on Elite Dangerous like this is very positive, and I think you could see Elite Dangerous climb from 7 to probably close to 20% within the first year and a half. Maybe I'd say 18 months total. You could see that move from 7%, about 22% on the revenue side of things. And if they were to keep focusing on it, it would take up the whole goddamn chart. Like, to be real, I think it would.
Even more impressive, over the past year, the game sold 300,000 copies. Remarkable.
Like Erad said, it's the first time in 3 years they mentioned Elite Dangerous in their shareholder presentation.
Such a veteran title in a niche genre. On top of that, revenue grew by 76%, largely thanks to Frontier's new strategy of selling ships in early access for real money, alongside an improved offering in cosmetic assets. But of course, this raises the real question: why the growth? What's bringing back or even attracting brand new commanders to Elite Dangerous? Well, that is exactly what we're going to talk about in today's video. But before we dive in, this video is sponsored by the Erad Club. If you're looking for...
I will say this here while we're talking about this. This is a 5-year chart of Frontier Development's price. They are listed on the London Stock Exchange. I believe is it the FTSE? I always forget their exchange. I think I'm correct in saying the FTSE, but I could be wrong. Look at this significant drop, right? And they've had their shares of blunders here. I mean, this is insanity right now. You know, it is really insanity.
For people to fly with, to grind merits or engineering materials, or if you want to join our colonization efforts into uncharted space, we are recruiting right now. All you need to do is join our Discord, link in the description, and send an in-game application. We're looking forward to playing with you. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can also join our Patreon, where you'll get to watch videos ad-free, access to full scripts, sneak peeks of projects, your name in the credits, your name can even be in the game, and there are even giveaways and more, so any help over there is much appreciated. Thank you very much. So, I think that we can all agree that the secret sauce for success in the video game industry is pretty simple. Listen to your player base. Understand what...
Fuck yes. Fuck yes, dude.
You're not gonna hate me.
That is so correct. In game dev, you'd be surprised how many people out there in game dev don't just listen to their fan base, man. It's like one of the simplest things you think these motherfuckers could understand, and they don't. Erad is so right about that.
Works, what doesn't, and most importantly, what players actually want. And over the past couple of years, that's exactly what Frontier has been doing.
Good. Yeah.
This is, of course, a welcome change after a period where the studio seemed to have lost itself, spending years focusing almost exclusively on THUR grade-related content.
As well, Sage.
And don't get me wrong here, I don't mind if Frontier caters to players who enjoy fighting a hostile alien race. That's totally fine. My problem was that it felt like everything was revolving around it. And, you know, as someone who doesn't really get into this kind of gameplay, it's not really something I'm interested in here, I felt left out.
Yep.
To the point where I actually uninstalled the game and didn't touch it for a long time.
Yep.
That all started to change with the introduction of PowerPlay 2.0. The old PowerPlay system never really felt worth the effort, but the revamped version is an entirely different story. Now players can align with a faction, take on various activities that change every week, and earn rewards ranging from engineering materials to increased bounty payouts, and even exclusive modules. It's not only just fun here, but it finally gives Elite something it had been sorely missing: purpose.
Hold on a second. Bravo, dude. Bravo, dude. Perfectly said, bro. Perfectly said.
Or, apart from enjoying the flight model and the beauty of space, I didn't really see a reason to keep on playing.
Yep.
And let's be honest here, there are other games that offer that kind of experience, sometimes even better. Star Citizen is one of them. That sense of purpose was reinforced even further with the release of Trailblazer, which allowed players to colonize their own star system. And honestly here, I think that this has been the real game changer. Before Powerplay 2.0, Elite Dangerous averaged around 4,000 concurrent players on Steam. Today, that number has more than doubled. And that's only counting Steam here. We don't even see
And that has doubled with new loops that they've installed, and also primarily not just the loops that they've installed and put and designed in the game that are great changes like colony building, but because the fan base knows now that Frontier Development is listening. And do you know how the fan base knows now that Frontier Development is listening to them? The commanders are happy because they're seeing the changes on their YouTube channel, and Frontier Development is being much more transparent about what it is that they are working on, which every game development studio should do. Whether you're public and listed on the stock exchange hemorrhaging money, or whether you're focusing on fan funding like Cloud Imperium, the importance of the connection between the game dev and the gamer is paramount to whether your project is successful. The other synergy with that is being able to run a business that can make a constant revenue stream, and you could be liquid and have money that you need to continue to pay the employees that you have. It all combines together. And when you have all those together, you will be successful in this industry. You just have to listen to your fan base, and you got to be transparent enough to show them that you are. It is really not that hard of a combination, but you would be oh so surprised at how many even AAA publishers don't get it. And in fact, some of the most heinous fucking AAA corpo publishers out there don't get it, and that's why they're doing so badly, because they don't understand the very simple, basic, rudimentary thing that is needed. Trust. Right, Fingers? Hold on, let me put some... Fingers is on this shit, man. Dude, Fingers, you're on one, bro. You got it. Fingers. Right. Hug into you too.
the figures for players who launched the game directly. And Trailblazers wasn't the end of this upward trend. Soon after, Frontier released the long-awaited Panther Clipper Mark II, a ship that players had been asking for years. At maximum capacity, it can hold up to 1,304 tons of cargo, making it an absolute powerhouse for colonization efforts.
I love the UI.
Colonization also gave a major boost to player-to-player.
You know what they've got done? Well, you know what they did, right? The simplicity of the UI design on the HUDs. Right, Erad? I will say something that Cloud Imperium needs to do, which are make the HUDs more tactile, to make the UI more tactile. Like copy, this is where Cloud Imperium needs to copy Frontier Dev, right? Yes, Erad says yes. This is where SIG needs to get the fucking script from Frontier Dev on how to do HUDs and UI correctly. The game is amazing when flying in Elite Dangerous. It is a great flight experience. One of the reasons I really am still in love with Elite Dangerous and why it was so hard for me to call the game dead. Some of the best PvP I've ever had in a space sim has been from Elite Dangerous, you know, full stop. And the second thing that makes me actually very happy about flying in Elite Dangerous is the HUDs, right? It's like a HUD sim, and it's very tactile, meaning it's easy to use. It's intuitive. The UI is very intuitive and very tactile, meaning like you go to a screen, you're on the screen, you can click in the screen, you can do a lot of things in the screen, and the way that they switch views down into it is so perfectly done that they absolutely, Cloud Imperium absolutely has to copy this template. This is the template. What they've got now, yeah, okay, you got detail from it, but it's so sloppy compared to this. This is what it needs to be. And I think Erad would agree with me. And those that play Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen, I think if you've played both games, you would actually agree with me. The flight experience in Elite Dangerous is a lot better. The flight experience and the HUDs and the UIs need to be exactly copied and put into Star Citizen, full stop.
Transactions.
Yep.
Of course, this feature already existed
That's awesome.
thanks to fleet carrier.
Erad's saying there's a lot of PvP happening right now for the colonization efforts in the Lagoon Nebula. So there's a lot of pirates trying to steal construction materials right now. So there's a lot of dynamic things happening in Elite Dangerous, which makes me oh so happy. Because, you know, as we know, Erad, and many of us commanders know that played Elite Dangerous, is there's a lot of commanders that will tell you that Elite Dangerous is isn't an MMO. It was never designed to be that way, including David, the creator, would say, well, this isn't an MMO. But a lot of us commanders secretly want this to be an MMO. And this is one of the things where Elite Dangerous is never going to get to, because they're not pushing the edge of server tech technologies. They're not pushing the boundaries like Star Citizen is doing to give you that unlimited player experience. And, you know, Star Citizen isn't close to being done with dynamic server meshing yet. But this is something that Frontier Development could really never offer. But it is great to hear that on Shards you can fight other people, and that it is getting more of an MMO type of an experience, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's great to hear also that there's purpose. You can hear the purpose in the way that Erad's typing in the chat right now, that there's actually purpose in the game, and that's what was missing in Elite Dangerous. He says, we are about 4,000 light years away from the bubble, so shipping construction materials requires a lot of logistics, so it's much easier to steal right now. So pirates are just stealing it. And that's the dynamic, cool things about a market, right? The other thing that Elite Dangerous needs to work on more is more of a player-driven economy, and not relying so much on a spreadsheet technology or a spreadsheet format that they've got where they just plug in prices for materials. You need to be able to actually put in buy orders and sell orders. That's another improvement that I've been talking about for a long time that Elite Dangerous needs. That's what Star Citizen needs. When you have that type of purpose and you're an industrialized player, a gamer, that's what you want, to have full control of your own profit margin, you know? There's player commerce now, and players are actually doing player interaction stuff with fuel especially. That's awesome. So, yeah, again, like, I think that they are steering this in the right direction. I agree so far with what Erad has said. Let's keep going here.
But it was mostly limited to mining or helping people unlock engineers. With the arrival of trade,
there's a lot of things that need to happen, right? There's like walking in ships and being able to explore your ships. And Suriel says, until I can board in Elite Dangerous, I don't think it will ever really get my attention again. And that's a great comment. That speaks to the reason why a lot of people from Elite Dangerous swapped over to Star Citizen, you know?
Trailblazers, though, the demand for construction materials exploded. Suddenly, being able to directly trade with other players became not just convenient, but essential.
Oh, that's fascinating. I love that. I love it.
Industrialists could finally gather resources and set up a shop to then sell to other people. And now that kind of gameplay has become more important than ever. And then came the Vanguard's update, which added something the game had been missing for a long time, a true shared endgame goal. Squadrons now can work together to build a 25 billion credit squadron carrier, where members will be able to share not just ships, but also funds.
Cool.
Before this update, nobody...
Oh, that's so fascinating. So you can actually have crew member now, like up to what cap though? That's fascinating. Being able to like base a carrier in deep space and work from the carrier together. That's fascinating. I love that. What's the player cap on that? Four players? 5? I need Erad to let me know. On that.
In my Discord really felt like joining the Erad clubbing game. Everyone was just doing their own thing. But Vanguard changed everything. It gave us a common goal, something to...
So good. I mean, that's such a good maneuver. Anytime you get ownership in a game and you're working together as an organization, it is always a great idea.
Rally around, and it strengthened the bonds of our community in a way that was already there on Discord but never truly materialized inside the game.
Right.
So, when we look at all of this, Powerplay 2.0, Trailblazers, the arrival of the Panther Clipper Mark II, player-to-player trading, and now the Vanguard's update, it becomes clear why Elite Dangerous is thriving again. Frontier finally started listening to the community, giving us purpose, progression, and shared goals. That's why players are returning. That's why new commanders are joining. And that's why, even after 11 years, Elite feels more alive today than it was in a very long time. The game that once felt stagnant had transformed into a living galaxy, one where every action matters, whether you are hauling cargo for colonization, building a squadron carrier, or simply carving out your own path among the stars.
That is one of the reasons what I said at the very beginning, Sage is worried about too, you know. Sage goes, is this a 32-bit game? It looks so dated. It does look dated with the engine. That's the only like there were two issues I had at the very beginning. I stated that as one of them.
And if you ask me, I think that this is why players keep getting engaged here. Not just the ships here, not just the cosmetics, but the feeling that together we are building something bigger than ourselves, and
which is powerful, which is why EVE Online is still around. And that is just a wonderful experience for the industrial gamer. If you're a trader, an industrialist, EVE Online is your game. And that's dated, and people still play that. And I think if they make these changes more solidly in the player's court, and they make more decisions that are player driven and team oriented like this, it is natural. It's a very organic game design for them to actually have people rely on them working together as a group and having a mobile base together. But if it's capped off at like 4, 5, or 6 even, I think it's not enough people. So again, it's not really designed to handle too many people on a shard. They never wanted it to be an MMO. Hopefully maybe they change directions and put a little bit more revenue towards servers, and like expand as the player base starts to expand, because it is, like Erad said, it already doubled. It went from 4 to 8. I think it can go to 8 to 12 easy within the next 6 months. Carries can have dozens of people. Oh my God, fantastic. You see that, guys? You see what's happening? They're listening to the player base. That's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That is so good to hear that they're actually going in that direction. We have been asking for this for ages of them.
Frankly, I cannot wait to discover that new feature that's coming at the end of the year. Personally, I hope it's
yeah, that's the one thing that like I get worried about, is how they're kind of like cutting off their nose to spite their face by making these only limited to teams of 4. I think that's the constrictions that they have on the code. Like they can't make it more than 4. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, that's I think a limitation. But overall, if they're opening it up and you can have dozens of people working, even if they're on different shards, but all the progress is saved together, I think that's a win.
An update on game planets, but it could be anything else. Hell, perhaps even a limited form of ship interiors. Who knows?
Wow, look at this. Erad's awesome. He's giving us some more information. You can have multiple teams of 4 work together in the same instance. Holy shnikes. What are they doing over there? Wow. Yes, right, Sage, and that's a really good criticism. Sage says listening to the player base or just playing catch up, and they're playing catch up in a historically epic way. They need to do this like 4 or 5 years ago, right? They might be too late in it, Sage, right? There's a risk that they're too late in it, but seeing that the player size doubled gives me hope that they're finally playing catch up. Let's be real. But they're listening now, so that's positive and constructive. So dudes, it might be going the right way.
Right? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. And of course, if you want to fly with us, join the Erad Club on Discord, link in the description down below. A special thanks as always to Dr. Forbin, Sokarta, Sisius, Shadowrise, Diorkoshar, and Ducky2Ducker, and everybody else who supports.
All right, good job, Erad. Good job, bro. We liked it. Good video on a game we love. Yeah, I mean, to me, I think you nailed it. Right at the very beginning of this, saying that all a dev or a publisher needs to do is just listen to the gamer. It's like duh, right? It's kind of crazy, man.